NewsX World. With that, viewers, we are shifting our focus to some developments coming in from Pakistan. The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan has claimed responsibility for a wave of deadly attacks across the country's northwest that has left at least 23 people dead. Now, Pakistani authorities say that the coordinated assaults have taken place across several districts of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province near the Afghan border. 11 paramilitary troops were killed in the Khyber district, while a suicide bomber struck a police training school, killing 7 officers. In a separate clash in Bajaur district, 5 more people, including 3 civilians, lost their lives. These attacks mark one of the deadliest escalations by the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan in recent months. With that, we shift our focus towards what's taking place in Venezuela. The UN Security Council has voiced concern over rising tensions between the United States and Venezuela following recent US strikes on vessels allegedly involved in drug trafficking near Venezuelan waters. Russia's ambassador has accused Washington of violating international law, calling the attacks examples of a shoot-first cowboy principle. The US representative, John Kerry, has defended the strikes and has said the following.
The United States does not recognize Nicolas Maduro or his cronies as the government of Venezuela. Nicolas Maduro is a fugitive from American justice and the head of the vicious narco-terrorist cartel de Los Salos. Moreover, it is the action and policies of the illegitimate Maduro regime that pose an extraordinary threat to both the region and the national security of the United States.
Now, responding to the statement, Venezuela's ambassador has warned of a possible armed attack and pointed to a growing U.S. military presence in the region. Listen in.
Estados Unidos es el único gobierno que proclama el principio, dispara primero, averigua después. ¿Quién puede creer que esta escalada militar de gran magnitud en el Caribe tiene como fin el narcotráfico? La verdad es que el gobierno de los Estados Unidos, según han confirmado la prensa internacional, ya dictó una orden secreta para autorizar el uso de la fuerza militar en territorio extranjero, con la excusa de una falsa lucha contra el narcotráfico. Al mismo tiempo, la CIA ha sido también autorizada para realizar.
Countries including Panama and France have called for multilateral strategies to combat drug trafficking without unilateral military action. With us on the broadcast is Mr. Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist joining us from New Delhi. Thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX World. Donald Trump and his increasing pressure on Venezuela continues. The warships that have been deployed in the Caribbean, the F-35 fighter jets continue to fly in the skies as well. Venezuela is increasingly training the people over there, training the militias on the ground, claiming that the US is attempting a regime change operation. How much weight does Venezuela's allegations hold?
Well, when we last talked about this, I did not think that America would have a physical invasion involving boots on the ground, because that is never without risks of body bags coming back to the United States. However, there could be airstrikes and there could be missile strikes and anything else that does not involve boots on the ground. But whether the Americans will actually attack Venezuela remains to be seen. This may be by way of threats in order to reduce the drug trafficking. To call Maduro the chief drug lord is indeed an escalation of what was going on when they were merely attacking and sinking Venezuelan ships, which the Americans said belonged to the drug cartel. The United Nations has also gotten involved. So there could be strikes in Venezuela but I don't see boots on the ground from the Americans.
Indeed, and you pointed out to the recent claims that have been made, the attacks that have taken place. Most of the transnational drug, trade takes place through land, through Mexico, and even through the sea. There's a UN report that states that a vast majority of it, nearly 3/4, takes place through the Pacific route and not the Atlantic. So in that case, are we seeing an exaggeration of the claims that the United States has been making?
Well, if they're planning to overthrow the Maduro regime, this is true to form, because you're not going to be too careful about the facts of the case. What you want is an excuse to attack it, and I think perhaps they're planning to do that.
All right, sir. With that, I would like to thank you for taking our time sharing your analysis with us on NewsX World. More news coming in from Venezuela. We're learning that Venezuela's Zulia state has held a military drill to prepare for a possible U.S. invasion. Governor Luis Caldera is leading a military exercise alongside regional armed forces to train troops and civilians for a possible U.S. attack on national territory. The drill includes the deployment of military vehicles, anti-aircraft batteries, and defense coordination meetings. This comes as U.S. President Donald Trump has halted diplomatic outreach efforts with Venezuela, instructing his special envoy Richard Grenell to cease all negotiations. Tensions between the United States and Venezuela have been intensifying as Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has refuted U.S. accusations that Venezuela is involved in drug production and is alleging that Washington is seeking to oust him from power. Shifting focus